What's up, Dark Army? It's your boy Darkman, and today I'm gonna be telling you guys the history and the story of the legendary ship that sank 114 years ago. The legendary unsinkable ship, the Titanic. So you guys really wanted to, hear the story of the legendary ship Titanic. It was even on my voting section, and y'all really wanted that. 0% of the bullshit video though, but still counts. So, if you guys want to learn about the history of the ship that sank in the Atlantic Ocean, don't worry, I got you. So now you can all learn by Mr. Darkman, the teacher, the Titanic history teacher. And I'm gonna tell you every single secret and also where the Titanic came from and where the Titanic was gonna travel to until it didn't make it. But let's get into it. So Titanic lug was a 800-meter luxury ship that was supposed to head to New York City but didn't make it. It was originally part of the company White Star Line that made other ships, and also two other ships that were basically Titanic sisters, HMS Britannic and RMS Olympic, that looks identical as Titanic. But when Titanic was made in 1911 to 1912, they started putting the funnels on, like those four giant smokestacks up top. Those are called the funnels. And then 2,200 people boarded the ship, and the Titanic's captain, Edward J. Smith, the captain of the Titanic, he didn't really care as much because Titanic was really called the Unsinkable, and he said that even God can't even sink the ship. Well, I'm going to tell you what happened to him after Titanic sank. So, right as Titanic was sailing into the sea, the night, April 14th, 1912, the Titanic hit the iceberg. And I'm going to show you the blueprints of the Titanic. So, we see here that this is the actual blueprints of the Titanic. And do you see all these big, squares on the bottom? These are called the Titanic compartments. Each one has little walls that can hold the Titanic, water system. And if you see here in the front of the bow, there the Titanic can hold four compartments of the water, but the Titanic cut five compartments. The scratches were pretty big and very damaged that the water started flowing in very fast. So as Titanic was sailing and the emergency bells were ringing, the Titanic scraped the iceberg. Giant cuts were on, and then the entire thing started flowing. Then everything went to chaos. The entire boilers were being filled. Everything was being filled. Titanic's bow started to sink, and everything went to chaos. Then one of the funnels fell down to the ocean. And after all that, the Titanic splits in half. And I want to tell you why did the Titanic split in half? Well, if you didn't notice, there was a movie from James Cameron, The Titanic, in 1997. He actually added the entire splitting because... Sorry, I had to pause there in that video, but if... Wait, hold on. Because I want to tell you something about how, the entire night was just black. No one could see anything. No one even saw what happened to the Titanic until until 1985. This man right here, Dr. Robert Ballard, he was basically supposed to be, finding some submarines that when they found was imploded. But he found something in the pitch black on the ocean floor. He found a boiler, one single boiler in the debris field. And then he realized that was one of the boilers from the Titanic. And when he searched more, he found the entire bow of the Titanic. He found one tip of the entire bow. He searched everything, and yes, before, the Titanic James Cameron movie, they looked further and then they saw a split on the Titanic. And then they realized, wait, did the Titanic split in half? They searched further and found the stern, who was torn in complete pieces, giant pieces around. And I could tell you, why does the stern look completely destroyed and why does the bow look like the same? Well, that's what I'm going to tell you right now. Because if we go back to, that video thing, as the Titanic sank, the entire bridge of the ship torn apart because the Titanic was going deep down. And the bow went down like a torpedo until it landed on the bottom. The entire bow literally dug into the ocean floor. And then the stern was going straight down. It went extremely fast that the entire ship broke apart in pieces. And all that's left is a bunch of scraps and boilers in the bottom. And as the bow literally went down, the literal front dug in. And then all of the air pressure literally crashed down, and that's what happened. But do you really want to know how many people lost their lives and how many people came back alive? Well, I can tell you this: 1,517 people lost their lives on the Titanic. Some drowned inside, some jumped into the freezing water and froze to death. And I want to tell you this: there was a bunch of stuff from the people down in the debris field. There were shoes from a body. There were suitcases. There was dishes, all those pots. There was so many of stuff from the people. Well, a bunch of people were in life jackets. They would float on the water, but those who didn't have, they would literally drown into the bottom, and then their flesh will be gone, and then their bones will be gone, and then all that's left is a bunch of clothes and shoes. And that's very sad because there was also found girls' shoes, like little girls' shoes. So if we think, yeah, that girl might have also sunk into the floor. But is this story very interesting to me? Yes, it really is. Because the story is holy crap, how this is so sad. Damn, all those people died from freezing cold water. But all those 710 people that came back were saved from one ship that was very close by. The one and only the Carpathia ship. Yeah, so the Carpathia ship was the actual ship that saved all those 710 people. And they also found bodies floating. They even brought them in. All those people came back alive from Carpathia, but it soon sunk anyway. Yeah, the Carpathia ship also sunk down into the bottom. Yeah, this is the actual ship of the Carpathia. But one photo was taken that day, and people keep saying this is the iceberg that took the Titanic down. Because you can see that giant hole and all those graves. You know, the man who took this photo literally gave that photo to like scientific people, like good people that knows. They literally saw like the red stripes and they matched the exact same height as literally the Titanic hull or the bow, whatever. But yeah, this looks to be the exact same the iceberg that took down the Titanic. But yes, remember when I said earlier about, like the Britannic, the Olympic, and also the Captain Edward? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened to him right here, right now. So, Captain Edward Smith, he really didn't even care. Because this guy literally like, put the ship on 28 miles per hour. Per second. What? I don't remember. Like per, and the ship was going so fast that even people on like those giant poles wherever. Sorry, I had to burp there. But they were really like they didn't have binoculars. They had to use their eyes to see. And then they saw the iceberg. They like called the officers, picked them up, and heard. And then the officer who like you know was calling, he said iceberg right ahead, and we could speculate that he survived or passed away in the sinking. But all of those people, man, they really like really gone. They're gone. Like all those people. All this happened 114 years ago. I mean, hey, my great grandfather, he was alive right when the Titanic happened. I don't remember. I don't know if he went to the ship or anything, but he really did. No, no, he really was alive when it happened. But all those things that happen, like, dang. But yes, so Captain, he went back to the bridge, like where he controls the entire ship, and remember when I said earlier about like the sinking thing? Yeah, when the bow was going down, the entire bridge like ripped everything off. The entire, the bow was going a bit fast down, that everything was also being like scraped, like scrapped and everything like getting pulled off. That happened to the bridge. It was literally demolished. Everything inside it was just being pulled, and also the captain. The glass broke because of the water. It was like pushing it in. He drowned, and then the bridge collapsed. Like tearing the bridge apart, and the captain probably flung anywhere in the ocean, anywhere. But do you know what was found in the bottom on the debris field? They found his megaphone. His megaphone that he used. You know, I mean, he said that God can't even sink the ship, and then the ship sank, and he went down with it. I mean, hey, you can't say stuff about God, man. You can't, or else something bad will happen to you. I mean, hey, he said that, and yeah. But now, done with talking about the captain, let's talk about the sister ships. So, the Britannic. It sank years later after the Titanic, and people speculate that it got hit by a torpedo or a sea mine. And I'm gonna show you exactly how it sank. So, as the bow of the Britannic was sinking, it kinda sank just like the Titanic, the bow was going down, but it didn't split in half. I'll show you the wreck side just in a moment. But the propellers were still on, and people on the boat, they were literally going straight to it. And, you know, this actually happened in real life. And then, cut. This, this actually happened, by the way, IRL. The propellers were on, people were on boats, and then, that. What's the music? But, yes. It literally was on, and all the people that were on board on the boats and went straight to it. Good cut. And right after that, it turns over. The entire ship turns over, the funnels fall down, and guess what? The entire bow hit the ocean floor. And then, poof, it sank. The Britannic. The bow hit the ocean floor and it kind of broke. And then the entire ship landed on the side. But I can show you the wreck side right here, right now. There we go. That's the Britannic. That is the ship. The entire bow side hit the ocean floor and it kind of cracked. It kind of cracked open. And you can see one funnel is over there, but the entire ship was just tossing. Look, the Titanic is literally like 4,000 feet, no, 4,000 meters deep and 12,500 feet. But yeah. Well, not actually 4,000 meters. It's actually 3,800 meters deep. Meanwhile, the Britannic is literally 400. 400 meters against the entire 4,000, no, 3,800. But what happened to the Olympic? Did it also sink? Sadly, no, it did not. Because in 1935, yeah, 1935, like the Great Depression and all that, it was kind of taken down and put it for scrap. So the entire ship was taken to a scrapyard and taken to pieces until there was nothing left. The Olympic is fully gone, except for the Britannic and Titanic. But the metal on the Titanic is actually being eaten away. Yes, so the Titanic will be gone very soon. Oh my god, the ship will be gone, man. The ship will disappear very, I don't think very, very soon, but it will be gone soon. I mean, I think the stern will be disappearing very much soon because it's more worse broken than the Titanic. But yeah, after all those years, the Titanic is finally gonna deteriorate into nothing. And I am gonna say that yeah. But now let's go to the incident that happened in 2023. Ocean Gate. Stockton and Rush, this man right here, the CEO of this company, wanted to get fame and create a submarine that can actually go to the Titanic. Meet Titan. Ocean Gate Titan. That can get to the depth of the Titanic. They have done 80 expedition dives, but dive 83 was the very last of the entire dive. The people that were inside Titan after the incident was Stockton Rush, who was the pilot, Paul Henry Narcolet, who calls himself Mr. Titanic, Hamish Harding, British businessman, pilot and space tourist, and Shahzada Dawood and his son Solomon. They were gone. They were really gone. they disappeared after the Titanic expedition, and they were looking for them. Like searches were being done until they until a camera was sent to the death, and they were looking for the Titan. But what they found was a debris field of Titan. So yeah, that dive was their last life ever taken. And the way it got crushed, you know, they always heard bangs on Titan, but it wasn't like something like crashing on it or something. It was pressure. Because, if a human body goes to that depth of the Titanic, the entire thing, like everything inside you, will just crush you instantly. And that's what happened to Titan. The entire pressure was so high that the entire thing broke in 1 millisecond. And here is the implosion sound that you're gonna hear right now. Yeah, that was the actual sound of the implosion. All those people, Stockton Rush, the only thing he wanted was fame. To fuel his ego, fame. There's an entire documentary in from Titan in Netflix right now, and it's called Titan: The Ocean Gate Submersible Disaster. You can go watch it right now to learn everything about Ocean Gate and all that. But yeah, that's all I have today for Titanic. Titanic is deteriorating and it's gonna disappear soon. And it's gonna be very sad to hear that Titanic is finally gone. If we get the news, Titanic will be gone. And we will never see it again. But the story will still be on, and this is all what I have for today for you guys to learn. But if you enjoyed this video with me of the history of the legendary ship Titanic, leave a like and subscribe. And also, I'm hitting 1 million, so I could do a face reveal for you guys, so you can actually see what I look like. But 1 million subscribers in my channel, and my goal for of being a YouTuber will be completed, and I will show you my face, and I will make better videos and very cool ones. Like maybe like Piggy, Roblox, Subnautica, all that. Yeah, I can definitely do that. But if you guys are, yeah, no, I'm done saying like yeah. But yes, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. And also, stay dark.